So hello everyone, and I just want to welcome you to this amazing summit that's been created for all of you, creating calm in the chaos. This was created to provide tools in releasing emotional blocks that may have settled in from the past and then been exacerbated through this pandemic with the isolation I think each of us felt. These tools were created to be able to use in the comfort of your own home. So each presenter will share actions to help you cultivate mindfulness, inner exploration of yourself, and move you to a calmer growth state of being to improve your quality of life. My name is Chanda Kanouf. I'm one of the hosts here. And I will see you later in my presentation, Uplevel Your Life. But right now, I would like to introduce Damini Celebre as a soul advocate. Sorry. She helps to connect people to their soul's truth so that they can live as their brightest, best selves. Through a potent mix of heart-based tools, healing arts, acupuncture, energy medicine, shamanism, and the intuitive creative arts. Damini helps you to connect to your innate inner guide so you live a heart-centered life and shine on. Damini helps empower you to make clear choices to live as your most authentic self each day. You can explore Damini's membership communities, her Connect to In podcast, and programs at her website, and also which is DaminiCelebre.com. Now I would like to hand it over to Damini Celebre, and she is going to share a powerful tool from your heart called Your Heart's Yes that will absolutely help you find a little bit of calm in the chaos. To you.
I am so glad to be here. And I want to really just give kudos to you and your team for putting this together because it's a lot of work and it really states to the desire you all have to help us all, as I like to call, be unshakable in the midst of madness. But we're really talking about
Perfect.
the same thing, right?
Yes, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and could you share just a little bit about what it is that you do?
Yeah, I could do that. I have been a healer since I was a wee child, believe it or not. And I have been trying to combine, like, in my heart, I always knew I was an artist, but I have this innate gift of healing. And like many of us, it's hard sometimes that we have two passions and we we desire to be more integrated. And I think
Mm-hmm.
for many years that was something I was holding space for and not knowing how to do it. Like they were like not even apples and oranges. They were like two different beings, rocks and apples or something like that. But around 2005, I've had a full-time acupuncture practice, and I was
Wow.
burnt out, and I was feeling stuck and lost. And really, I lost my spark. I was like so into making money, like doing the right thing. On the outside, I
Mm-hmm.
had a great life, good job, a house, I had friends, but inside me, I felt like I was shriveling up and dying.
Right. Yep.
And it was an amazing epiphany to like label it, you know. And so one day I was sitting quietly in a meditation types meditative place, and I was holding in my heart like, what do I need to like feel alive again? I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard really, really, really clearly, write this book. I was like, what book? And in my mind's eye, I looked down on my lap and I saw this big pink book on my lap.
Wow.
And the pages were flipping, and I saw chapters like Soul's Truth and Inner Guidance and Your Heart's Yes. And I said, I heard myself go, oh. And then I thought, shit, I can't write. Like, I really believe my first language is color, shape, and form. Like, I'm dyslexic. Like, words are hard for me. And I was like, Spirit, you have a funny sense of humor. This is how you want me to integrate my life, right? And so I'm a good girl, or I like to say I follow guidance, so maybe that's a good girl. But I really felt like it was an invitation to really step out of my comfort zone. And, all of us who have been on this healing journey know that stepping out isn't always comfortable. It can be challenging, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I started writing, I committed myself to writing this book called Painting the Landscape of Your Soul. And I didn't tell you
Ah,
this, but as I was in this meditation, the cover was in front of me, and the title was Painting the Landscape of Your Soul. And I have to tell you, over the years when I was working with designers and creating the book, they're like, can we shorten the title? I'm like, mm-mm, non-negotiable. This is what
right.
Spirit told me was the title, and I have to honor that. So that book that is now out in print is a combination of the core of it is the healing journey, and the healing journey as a self-discovery journey, like from
Wow.
going from your limitations, those things that hold us back, to really experiencing, touching into, and owning your light, and
Ah,
it's a journey. And what I love about the book, and how I work now, is that I believe that our head, as brilliant as she is in driving, making choices, paying bills, is brilliant. But when we are on a precipice of change, our mind is like, whoa, no way, go away. We call this the inner critic, the saboteur, go eat a bag of corn chips. That's my downfall. That's when I know I'm in trouble. But it's like, that's because these limitations that are holding us back from being our most authentic self are limitations that were put in place when we were young. And so our mind, like when we start to transform or step out, if you will, it's like, I can't write a book. I can't even spell. Blah blah blah. Blah, 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 it's that twirly mind, right?
yes.
But when we get out of our head and back into our body, that is where our truth lies. That's where our inner guidance is, right?
Yes.
And that's where the embodied creative practices come in, because they are an out of mind experience or a present mind experience. Like, and
Wow.
we all have had this experience, like, you want to do something and you're just thinking of all the reasons why this isn't going to work, right? We're here, pandemic, life, wars, like all these things, like they're just keeping us up here, energetically up here, right?
Yeah.
And the way for us to kind of come back in to our precious body is to come down, to breathe, and then we can listen to the guidance of our body. Okay? And that intuitive creative stuff comes in a non-linear way. It, like I always say, the information slips in under the mind. And it's not that you're different at the end of the moment of this
Mm-hmm.
coming into your body, getting insights from your creative self. But what you receive is so resonates as true with you that you can take the next step.
Right.
And this is I could talk about this for hours, but so what was happening in the the creation of the book, and then watching people do the process, um, they were doing the healing journey just like people do in life coaching, in meditation, in qigong, in acupuncture. Like, there is a very specific energetic journey we all go on. We go,
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazing. I'm shit. I'm amazing. I'm shit. Whatever. We do this, right?
Oh,
And then, it's like, so the healing journey is the same. Owning who you are in the process is what changes, your body, mind, spirit, muscle memory, so that you can kind of come back to your authentic self. And we all know this, that healing doesn't happen like this. And if it does, our muscle memory needs time to transform. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
we all need to do continuous work with somebody or as a practice. That changes the
Yes.
muscle memory.
Yes,
So,
that is so true. So, was there a turning point in your life, Damini, that like something happened to you that you traveled through this and decided to kind of share, or is there kind of like that one turning point that said, "Hey, this is my journey." I know you said you started even when you were very young, you were a healer. So maybe there hasn't been that journey like for some of the rest of us.
well, that's a great question. I mean, I think there's a series of turning points.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's so many. I think the book was definitely a turning point, but I feel like at that point I was quote unquote self-established in my healing journey.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if there was one in particular.
Okay. So
I
just an
mean, I think
accumulation. Yeah.
it's just following. I was, for me, I think spirit shows up in a really big way. Like, I was kind of, in my early 30s doing whatever I can to accumulate money. I was an artist, right? So I was
Yeah.
waitressing in a lot of different places. And then at a certain point, um, I needed to see an acupuncturist because I wasn't well. And, the medical field wasn't working. And it was just like everything just lined up. Boom, 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 boom. Like a friend of mine who never in my life would I think she was doing acupuncture sent me to an acupuncturist. And like
Wow.
within weeks, I was learning shiatsu and then learning acupuncture. Like it's like everything just lines up.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
happened with the book too. Like as soon as I committed to it, people showed up in my life and said, "Oh, I can help you organize this. I can help you write this. I'll be happy to design this for you." And I
Wow.
think that's for me that's a real testament of being either in the head or kind of like owning the inner guidance. And once the inner
Right.
guidance, once you go, "Oh yeah," like things just line up for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe all of you listening can think of some moments where you were at a precipice and then you just really felt truly inside you that this step had to happen. And then everything just goes whoop, whoop, and there's this alignment.
Yes. Yeah.
I,
Yeah,
I, I do
for
believe
sure.
that there's these series of things. I
Yeah.
mean,
So,
the book was a biggie because I was pretty self-entrenched in, a lovely practice and blah, 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 blah. And, the book's like, okay, time to integrate your life. And it was like,
right. So is that kind of when you talk about your heart's yes, like you have developed this tool called your heart's yes. Is that kind of what happened to you? And could you share that little practice with us and see how that
yeah, yeah,
goes? I
yeah.
would love, I'm super curious.
Okay. Let me ask you, how much time do we have?
We are at 11 minutes right now, so we have 30.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that's
Yes.
beautiful. Um, okay, so those of you who are listening, look around and grab a pencil and a pen if you have it, because I think we may do it this way. So, your heart's yes is one of the many tools for your heart that I offer. And I believe that tools of the heart is how we navigate life. Um, some of these tools help navigate you to get out of your head, uh, to overcome the saboteur. And some of them are really tools to lovingly let you recognize your strengths, your gifts.
Hmm.
And so your heart's yes is really about knowing how your body guides you. So I believe our body holds the roadmap for our transformation. And the way I think about this, if any of you have ever seen any pictures of chakras or meridians, like these are these internal energetic pathways in our body. And I'm a 5-element acupuncturist, and in 5-element acupuncture, all the points on the body actually help guide you to being what I call your brightest best self. So in a way, the body is holding those roadmaps, and our body guides us by feelings and sensations and emotions. And we all know this because, you know, if we are walking down the street and you're not really quite sure where you want to go, and are you going to go left or right? And, you know, you get this full body yes that goes this way, you know, versus when you're going somewhere that looks a little creepy, you're like, oh no, I'm not going there. Like, these are ways that our body guides us, you know, and so it's kind of like instinct built, instinct moving in towards intuition, moving more into empathic. You know, these are the levels of how we navigate our life. So knowing that our body is guiding us, the first step or the first tool for your heart is to come back into your body. And I mentioned a little while ago that when we are stressed, now I know none of us are stressed right now. We've had 2 years of complete relaxation.
Oh.
But when we get stressed, and we all know this, and I'll say this actually for all of us, when we get stressed, we contract, our voice gets higher, and our energy does kind of like a toothpaste if you were squeezing it from the bottom. Like, all our energy leaves our feet and travels all the way up. And we know this because when we're stressed, our necks are tight. We're just walking around like this, right? And so our energy stays and gets stuck up here. When it's up here, we second guess ourselves. When it's up here, our mind is totally ruling the show. When we're up here, we're so far out of our body that we start banging into things. Or that's what happens to me. But I think that's a pretty constant thing. Like, we have these cultural phrases. I'm so beside myself. Well, yeah, we are so beside ourselves. Like, here's our physical body and here's our energetic body. And instead of being overlaid, we're like separated from ourselves. You know, and so step one to coming back into yourself is the first tool, or the mantra that I like to say, is breath to belly to feet. All right. And I'm going to take you through this exercise, but I think because I've been talking to your head a lot, let's satisfy the mind and let everybody know where we're going, so your mind can kind of release a little bit, right? But it's true, right? We're like,
yes.
Tell me where I'm going, what am I going to do, and then I can surrender.
Yes.
And since you're all listening to this in a video, you know, or a recording, you know, you don't know me all that well. So I just want to tell your mind that you're going to be okay. So we do breath, belly, feet. And what that does is it starts bringing your twirly energy down and in. Right? If you want to get away from your head, the furthest part in your body is your toes. So you bring your energy all the way down to your toes. And you can see how that actually even changes my voice. And it'll change your voice too, because we're just coming down, right? And then the next step is your heart's yes, which is going to be an energetic exercise that we're going to do together. And then I'm going to do a little embodied creative practice with you. 1 minute of creative yumminess. Okay. Mind, are we happy? Did that satisfy everything? Okay. All right. So I have this big old beautiful singing bowl here. And some of you may know what these are and some of you may not. But it's a big crystal bowl. And those of you who do yoga have probably heard something like this. And I believe that the way that we invite change, is to create sacred space. And sacred space can happen in a different way, but it's a way to kind of cue your body that you're coming back in, cue your heart that you're about to start to listen, right? You could do that by lighting candles, some incense. Singing bowls translate best over Zoom. So just so you know what you're hearing. All right. So feel the weight of you on your chair, right? Feel your feet on the ground. If you're driving, I'm going to invite you to opt out of this exercise for now and listen to it at another time. But just feel the weight of you on the earth. Breath to belly to feet. There we go. Feel the weight of your body on the earth, on the chair. No matter what kind of distractions are around you, don't worry about them. They'll be there when we're done. Now, bring your awareness to your breath into your chest. Allow your breath to come down to your belly. You don't have to do anything fancy. Just invite yourself and your breath to come down. Now bring your breath down into your hips, down into your legs, all the way down to your feet. Wiggle your toes. Just notice how you feel in your body. What shifted? No judgment, just noticing. Let's do a couple cycles of breath to belly to feet. As you invite your breath to come down, it actually grounds you and expands you at the same time. Your breath coming into your body allows a little bit more spaciousness in you, in your mind, in your heart. Bring that breath down even further into your belly, to your sides, into your hips. Bring that breath really all the way down those deep bones in your legs, into your calves, and all the way down into all the many little bones in your feet. Wiggle your toes. And again, every time you come down to your feet, just notice what shifted in your body. Sometimes learning how your body speaks to you could be like a new language. So you may notice bigger things versus than the more subtle things. But just notice. Breath to belly to feet. Beautiful. Now go ahead and place your hands on your heart. Feel the rising and falling of your chest. Keep allowing your eyes to be soft as long as you're not driving. A little hint, when your eyes are soft, you are in your heart space. You are in the present moment. When your eyes are open and you're looking, you're in your head. Just come back down, breath to belly to feet. Your new life mantra, my loves. Wiggle your toes. Do you feel the beating of your heart? Do you feel the rising and falling of your chest? Yeah. breathing, coming back more and more into yourself. And again, do a quick little scan of your body. Just notice how you feel. Where there's tightness, where there's an expanded feeling, where you feel alive, where you feel a little stuck. Just notice. And now say to yourself, my name is, and you could say this out loud or to yourself, the name that you like to go by. And just notice how your body responds when you say that name. If you start thinking about whether you're doing this right, go back to breath, to belly, to feet. My name is, and notice how your being responds. Great. Now go ahead and say a name that is opposite of yours, or some other name that you don't know, or that you don't like to be called. My name is, and just notice how your body responds to that. Okay, let's go back for a comparison and go ahead and say, my name is, and say and state the name that you love to go by. There you go. And just notice those very first changes and the longer changes in your being. And then again, for comparison, go ahead and say that other name. I like to use Harry. Yeah. So I invite you to take a moment and just think about 4 or 5 words for each of those experiences. And they can be really subtle, or they can be very big changes in your being. And just kind of label when you connect it in to the truth of your name. What were some of those words? You can write them down if you want, or just be present with them. And then go ahead and write the names of that when. Let's go ahead. Write the names down of that other name and what those physical experiences were. Yeah. Now, chances are for some of you, one of those, for the most part, those of you, when you say the name that you like to go by, there's a little bit more of a curiosity, a lift, a light, an expansion that happens in your being. When you go by the name you don't like to go by, there's a little bit more of a contraction. Maybe you hold your breath a little bit. And I like to think about this as understanding your truth barometer. And that's what your body holds, this yes and no. So exploring and getting to know your heart's yes is a way that you can guide yourself through stories that your mind tells you, through navigating, should I do this? Should I take this class? Should I sign up for this incredible retreat? Like, we all have these experiences of yes. You know, it's equally as important to know when our body's going no, too. And why this is so important in the foundation of the work that I offer is it's actually this guidance of following where there's flow, yes, where there's not flow, no. is how we navigate these really deep soul questions that we then, in the programs that I offer, explore through creative practices, through energy practices. But the basis of one, tool number one, in and down, breath, belly, feet, right? If you want to know how your body and your heart and your soul are guiding you, first you got to be in your body. Because if we weren't in our bodies, we'd just be spirits floating around. And we wouldn't have any of the issues that we do, right? And then to really explore and learn to trust your heart's yes. And so I recommend that you don't start with your heart's yes saying, should I move here? Should I quit this job? Right? They're big. And I think for most of us, or for myself, it takes time to trust in your inner guidance. We have been so trained, especially as women, not to trust our intuition, not to trust our inner guidance. That the way that we can be unshakable and calm no matter what life throws our way is to, one, trust how we are being led, not the guru down the street or anywhere else, or the politicians or whatever that is, but to learn how to trust our guidance is so essential, right? When you do breath, belly, feet, the really good news is you are in the present moment. You have given your brain a break. You're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. You're right there in the beautiful present moment. And when you're there, you get filled up with your own vitality and you can learn to listen. So a lot of layers to this stuff. So I invite you to practice your heart's yes, saying, should I wear this? Should I wear that? Should I go left or right? You know, play games with yourself. Learn to really trust your intuition. Because that, more than anything else, will help you stay calm in the chaos.
That is so interesting.
Yeah. So if I have 5 more minutes, do I?
You have more than that. So at least,
yay!
Yes.
Great.
10.
Love it, even better. So what I like to do is take you into one embodied creative practice that I love to do. And in fact, I'm doing this every Monday on Clubhouse as a visioning experience. But what we're going to do is I'm going to invite you to have a pen or a couple pens and some paper, or your phones and a drawing app open, whatever works for you. I know, right? Now, do you feel that your mind's already going, I can't draw. What do you mean we're going to draw? Blah, 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 right? So this is what happens when we're being invited to step into our power. Ma, right? So let's come back. Here's my trusty singing bowl. Let's do this again, right? This is all about creating muscle memory, right? So feel your butt on the chair. Feel your breath coming into your body. Invite your beautiful breath to come all the way down, right down the center line of your being, into your chest, into your belly. Bring it into your hips, down your legs, into your feet. We're going to try something a little bit more here. And imagine that breath leaving the bottom of your feet and creating these long, deep roots. There you go. Notice how your body shifts, right? Breath to belly to feet. Place your hands on your heart. Say your name out loud. My name is. And let that full body yes move through your whole being. Great. Feel the rising and falling of your chest, the beating of your heart. And one of your other amazing superpowers is that we have a higher self. We have an expression of ourself that has done all this work already, right? So when your hands are on your heart, imagine that you are connecting to your higher self, right? Your body, your heart, and soul all aligned right now. And ask your internal guidance system, your inner wisdom, to show you a really simple symbol that represents you right now, calm, centered, in your power. And take the very first thing that comes. It can be a circle, a square, a dot. It could be something more elaborate. When you got that, go ahead and write it down or draw it down real quick. You can do it a little sketch. You can make it more elaborate later. But here's what I know about this image. This image is a representation of that light in you, that unshakable, grounded, brilliant you. Don't let your mind judge what it looks like. Okay, I just saw that, Chandra. I saw it. But this is what we all do. Really? That was just a dot. It doesn't matter. What it is this external representation of this gift that you just got from your soul self, right? Every time your being sees that image, it's realigning your body, mind, spirit, muscle memory. So here's how I think about it. When we're in chaos, we're like this, right there. This is chaos, right?
Yes.
When we connect to ourselves being guided, grounded, centered, calm in our hearts, yes, we do this, right? This is what healing is, right? We have a session, we're like, oh yeah, I feel like this. You go outside, you stub your toe, you go like this. Muscle memory is, why we do continuous sessions is to get this to not be so reactive, right? And so this image keeps going. Yes, this is who you are. Yes, this is who you are. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I say copy the image, make it your screensaver, work it for the week, your life. How does this keep holding you to the calm, to your unshakable self?
Yeah, mine's a triangle.
Yeah. Right. So the mind wants to understand what it is, right? But if you go back to breath, belly, feet, if you come back to your heart, there could be a sensation of something bigger. And again, I think we've all tried to understand the hell out of everything. And when we get into the world of soul, of truth, like that hidden stuff, it's sometimes we're not able to verbalize it, understand
Right.
it. But there's a resonance of truth in us that is unmistakable.
Right. Huh. That is really interesting because it's a little bit like muscle, like not this one, but the heart's yes, it's muscle testing. Like when you ask that yes or no question, but I could feel it when I said my name is Fred. I felt like a pang in my stomach.
Yes.
Like it wasn't comfortable. It's like, no, you're not.
Right.
And then when I said my name, it was like, okay, yes. I felt safe and calm, and this is who I am.
Exactly. Right. And that's, again, if you just practice breath, belly, feet, and your heart's yes, like just get to know who you are in your most precious self again.
Yeah.
That's a game changer. The other end of it is just to keep your mind satisfied.
Yes.
So, if we can get out of our twirly head and back into our heart, we are unstoppable and unshakable.
Right.
And relatively calm.
Yes. A few of these. Oh, this is going to be amazing. And so I guess my next question is if people want to continue working with you, I know they can go on your website, but do you have an offer that you're presenting to those that are part of this retreat?
Um, I have uh, I have two actually.
Okay.
So one is you can. I think there's going to be a link somewhere in the show notes
Mm-hmm.
that you can download a book with a meditation called Your Heart's Yes. And the other invitation that I have for you all is I'm starting a 5-day mini retreat on March 21st. And it's about harnessing the energy of visioning, right? Which is a little bit of what we did. But like to take all these tools of our heart into kind of understanding and living what our heart and soul dreams. So they'll all be up on the show notes and stuff like that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, the vision you're going to have to find on my website, but the book
Okay.
is definitely in the show notes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Damini. This was amazing. I tell you, between everyone that I've had the opportunity and the privilege to interview, I have learned so much. I feel like I've gained so much. So
Oh, I'm sure.
I feel like if this is what I got out of it and really kind of understanding a lot of this myself, for anyone here who's joining for the first time and kind of just doing a dive into healing, their healing journey, there are so many amazing things, and yours just added right to all of it. So thank you so much, Damini.
Yeah,
This
it's
was
been my
awesome.
pleasure and honor. And all of you who are watching, reach out if you have any questions or ahas. We'd
Yeah.
all like to know how impactful our work is being with the community. So
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you again.
you're
And
very welcome.
I'm sure we will see you along this path a few more
Mm-hmm.
times.
Mm-hmm. Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.